Well, it's 8:53 in the morning on Sunday. I think it's July 20th. I slept okay. Woke up, did the dishes, made myself a cup of coffee, and cleaned up my sneakers. I'll have to figure out something about that because I'm heading over to the gym for the first time. And one of the requirements you have to follow or meet is you must have separate shoes that you did not wear outside. And so I'm wearing my hiking boots because I only have two pairs. I have hiking boots and I have those sneakers or trainers, as they say in UK. And I'm thinking I'm gonna stop by some dollar store or something and get something cheap. I'm gonna ask him and see what other guys are wearing in the gym. Never been there. Well, I stopped there before once, just to ask him about the app, how to set it up, so that I can enter. But yeah, I mentioned this before. So there's no pass card. It's just a barcode on the phone. So you have to bring your phone with you each time, because you have to use it at the little scanner they have on the countertop over there before you enter. And also when I'm wearing just, my expensive Walmart pants, and I have a couple of tank top and a t-shirt, because I want to see what the dress code is, because they were saying something about you must wear a shirt. I'm guessing probably they don't allow women to show their breasts, and same goes for guys, so you're not supposed to be naked. But yeah, I want to see if it's okay, for example, to wear a tank top, because that you sweat less, right? Because your armpits are open. If I could wear shorts and a tank top, that would be ideal, especially now since it's July. And of course it's Sunday, so I'm not working, and I'm not sure why I didn't do it yesterday. Well, yeah, I didn't bring my I had to clean the sneakers, so I washed them with soap and had to use some scraper. Found I had a piece of gum on the sole that I was not aware of, so basically I stopped on a landmine somewhere. Yeah, I just got a message from John in England. He said he watched my latest video, and he says you forgot to mention, when I was doing the tracking video about differences in tracking between UK and Canada or US. I forgot to mention one peculiar thing, which is really strange, but their trailers do not have their own license plates. So a trailer stands when it's parked, it just has no plate. If this was Canada, somebody would call police and they would call a tow truck and that trailer would be towed. But he says over there, sorry, they this guy's driving really slow. So over there, each trucker or lorry driver carries another plate, which is the same as the truck plate or lorry plate. And when he picks up the trailer, he has to go to the back and attach it, and there's just, you don't need to use any tools. It's just some plastic clips, so it just takes 10 seconds. But he says that's the rule over there, that the trailer plate must match the truck's plate, which is, I never heard of that before. Like here, I owned a few trailers, right? I owned a step deck. My first trailer was a tandem step deck, which was a disaster because I ordered it with a short tandem for some reason, so that I could go to Alberta. And of course, you lose that 40,000 pound capacity on the back when you can switch to a long tandem. So of course, ideally, it should have been tandem where one axle can slide to create either a 10-1 spread or short spread like 60 inches. I had a flatbed, then I had a 3-axle step deck, I had a RGNs, right? So I'm super familiar with trailer registration practices here. And I remember they were saying each trailer has, when you get the plate, it's issued for life. It stays with the trailer, I believe. Yeah, when you sell it, you don't take it off. Whereas if you sell the truck, you take the plate off, because it's no longer like that guy. The new buyer has to register the truck in his name or his company name, but trailer stays the same, I believe. Well, maybe I'm a bit rusty, but anyway, we don't carry a separate trailer plate to match the truck plate. All right, I'm almost here at the gym, and I'm a bit lost, to be honest, because I came from a wrong side. Yeah, I don't think this is the... Oh, maybe it is. All right. Yeah, I should have taken the Country Hills Boulevard. I'm coming through the back door. Sneaky. There's a big warehouse over here. Lots of trucks. They just sleep in the yard. And I often come here because they have a bunch of restaurants here. Probably one of my favorites is this. You'll see on the right, Mucho Burrito, and next to it is Darwin's Charcoal Barbecue Chicken. And then here we have A&W, and the gym is in this building up ahead, which you cannot access from Country Hills Boulevard. All right, I have a stop sign. So first off, I also have to find out what are because you know, it's a big gym, so there's lots of people over there. So I want to talk to the guys in the front, see what times of day and what days it's not crazy busy, you know? Because last time when I stopped here, I couldn't even find parking close enough. I had to park like 100 meters away, you know? Yeah, I see there's lots of cars. So that's Gold's Gym on the left. And we're right next to the airport. Oh, there's a bus stop there. That's cool for people that don't have cars. Oh, today it's better. Last time I had to park over here. So, and then if I'm in the mood, after this, we'll go shooting, because I'm envious. John is shooting like every week, I think once at least, or better yet twice. So, and today is Sunday, so oh, I tried to do Uber yesterday. Was sitting for 15 minutes, and Lyft gave me something super cheap. Uber was silent. Lyft was the first to offer me something. It was like $13 for 17 kilometers coming from this area, from airport going downtown. And I felt tired, you know, because yesterday we did that recovery. It was a lot of work. We picked up a disabled mini loader on tracks. You know, we brought a skid steer, lifted it up, and I dragged it with a winch. You know, it was a lot of work. But basically, yeah, that one, the drive, you know, wheel sprocket on the left side track was falling off. It was like falling out, and so the left track was dead, but the right track and the arms and the bucket worked, and the engine started. And so we started the engine, lifted the arms to make them parallel to the floor, the arms that hold the bucket, and then the second guy that came with me, we put like a, you know, heavy duty strap that they use with cranes. We put that strap around the arms, and he put his forks over, and I slid the ends of the strap on his forks, and he was able to lift that machine. You know, it's pretty heavy, probably a couple of 1,000 pounds, and he dragged it out because it was sitting at a depressed area, maybe half a foot below the sidewalk, you know. And so he lifted it up and he dragged it back, and he turned it slightly, and so then I just took my winch. We hooked up two of these J hooks I have. At the bottom there was a couple of eyes, and that machine just went up perfectly. I just had to rehook, use a shorter chain to bring it closer to the front, because those J hooks have a very long chain, because otherwise we didn't have enough space for the skid steer in the back. And it was a little bit tricky, like there was a heel, I don't know, 30 degrees per heel, and we had to park like that. So for him to climb in, to climb on the deck with his skid steer was super, like intense. Normally you try to park the opposite way, right? So that the heel, that your track faces towards the top of the heel. So this way the angle of the bed is not crazy. But if you are standing on a heel facing the top, then, your bed will be like this, And so I did that mistake once when I was trying to unload an excavator. Actually, no, I was trying to load an excavator, and I parked like that. And I'm like, holy moly, the excavator I thought it would tip over. So I flipped around and parked the truck so that I was facing the bottom of the hill. And that way the angle was much, much, much better. It was like this instead of like this, But here we didn't have a choice. We had to park the truck with the back facing the spot where the skid steer was sitting, so that I could winch it up, So it was quite an adventure. We were all sweating like pigs after we were done because it was hot. And so, yesterday I didn't feel like going to the gym or shooting, but I had a good night's sleep. So now we're gonna go and maybe do a quick video. They allow that inside the gym, and actually I think they encourage people to post stuff on Instagram, because it's their free publicity. And then I'm gonna go home, take a shower, do a quick breakfast, and head towards downtown with my rifle. I finally managed to set up the red dot, because I was having issues. The same Holosun brand, but it's a different model, because they didn't have the one I'm usually buying. Like, I always buy the same model, but they were out of that model when I was ordering this rifle a few months ago. And they said, oh, but we have this one. And this one is totally different, because it looks the same, but the top has a little solar panel. So even if you don't insert the battery, the red dot the sight still works, but it's like very weak, But it's cool. It helps you save the battery life. But of course, to make that red dot brighter, so that you can, see. Oh, check this out. Somebody's flying probably to England for vacation. To be honest, I miss England. It was so unusual. It was such a cool country, with amazing scenery. And I'm gonna rewatch all the videos. And that the first day when I was super tired, and that Edinburgh little excursion or trip, that was amazing. I never been there in my life, right? And so finally I managed to find the proper position of the battery and that little tray. There's like a tray on the side where you have to put the battery. And I tried different positions, orientation, and I look inside, and the dot is still the same size. And then finally I was able to find the proper position. Like the manual was super small letters, hard to read. And then I checked this morning, and there's two buttons on the side, plus and minus, and you have to click that plus button to increase the brightness, and minus decreases the brightness, right? Whereas on my other one, on the model I used before, there's like a wheel that you rotate, and there's positions, and they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 10. And so I know that in daylight, I had to go to position 7. So it was better. So this one is cheaper, and that's why it only gives you plus and minus buttons. So you have to, look inside. But it's okay. Basically, just let's say when it's bright like this outside, well, it's cloudy, but it's still much, much brighter than inside the room, right? You just push that plus button till that red dot is easy to find. Otherwise, you cannot find it, And so I have lots of bullets. Never shot 5.56 NATO in my life, so this would be interesting experience. So we're gonna do maybe a quick takes inside the gym. And I'm gonna ask them, see how people dress, because again, it's been such a long time since I've been to a gym well, actually, wait, I was in the UK gym with John. Actually, over there, everybody was super nice, except one guy. One guy was grumpy because there was 3 of us who were using the same machine in turns. And he's like, you cannot monopolize a machine like that. I'm gonna complain. He was like a very grumpy old guy with a walking cane, you know. So he was not in a good mood. So anyway, so let's head over to the gym. Grab my, I'm bringing my dirty old gloves, because otherwise, you know, weights can hurt your palms. I need to buy new ones, and then I have to figure something about the shoes. I saw some guy was wearing sandals, but he probably, yeah, he wears sandals from the car. Maybe that's what I can do. I can buy some cheap sandals. I'm gonna ask him what kind of, because yeah, honestly, I'm using these as my everyday footwear. I don't want to clean them up every time, you know. So anyway, let's go. Well, just got back. Man, it was good. It was not too crazy busy. Talked to the guys at the counter. I said, okay, I got a few questions. First off, are shorts and tank T-tops allowed? They said, yeah. I said, what kind of shoes do you guys require? He looked at my sneakers and he said, oh, these are fine, but I guess I'll just buy some cheap. I saw everybody there nobody was wearing sandals. People were wearing closed toe sneakers or trainers. And the guy was kind enough, he did a quick tour. So they have just one big room, and then they have one for gold members, cheapskates like me. And then I have one extra room for platinum members. Basically, same thing, except it's smaller, but the same couple of machines, some free weights. So they kind of like premium members, you know, like first class on the airplane. And he also said they have a room for those rich bastards, but it was out of order. Yes. So, and then he showed me they had a basketball court open to my level, to gold members, which is basic. And then I have a boxing room, which I really like because it had a bunch of dumbbells and kettlebells, and it had boxing bags. And there was just one guy over there because everybody was in the main room. And then they give you a towel and a spray bottle. So you're supposed to, you know, whenever you leave some sweat, clean up quickly after yourself, even like dumbbells, clean up the handles. But I was wearing gloves, so I didn't bother with the dumbbells, but I did use that one to clean the bench. So basically, first I grabbed 2. Oh, and these guys have dumbbells like from 5 pounds to 120 pounds, like massive. And they're super actually convenient for many things. They're better than kettlebells because kettlebells are much bigger. Let's say when you do squats with dumbbells, you can go lower, you know, because when I was doing at home squats with kettlebell, I often thought that I should get some kind of a stand so I can, you know, get higher so that kettlebells can go lower. But dumbbells, perfect. So first I grabbed 2 70-pound kettlebells. Oh, and all the weights, UK, pay attention, are in pounds. Except when I went to the boxing room at the end just to do like a cool down, and I did some number 8, you know, like swings around your body and then between your legs. The kettlebell said 24. Son of a gun. I grabbed it. Sure enough, I feel it's a 52-pound kettlebell. Mine at home are 50 and 70. So they have some Russian kettlebells. But everything else is in pounds, which makes it easy for me since I'm used to pounds as a former trucker. And so first I did some farmer's walk with 2 70-pound kettlebells. Man, it felt super heavy, but then, you know, you feel like so strong afterwards. And then I just did some bench presses again with dumbbells. Sorry, yeah, I did the farmer's walk with dumbbells. And then I found a free bench, and I was doing kind of like a set of 3, but in a quick progression, you know, so that most people are sitting there for a couple of minutes after each exercise, staring at their phone, probably looking at some naked chicks on YouTube, you know. I was doing like, I grabbed 2 50-pound, or maybe 45-pound, maybe 50-pound, because they're more difficult than a barbell because they go left and right? I think I grabbed 2 50-pound dumbbells and did a bench press. Then I put them down. I grabbed, I think 40-pound, and there was like 10-second you know, between these runs, did 40 pound and put them back, grabbed I think 30 or 35 pound, and that's how I do it. You know, keep reducing the weight but keep the rest to a minimum. So this gives you kind of like a stamina training as well. So the bench press, I did my favorite exercise, bent row, with the same principle. First I think I did like 65 pounds with one hand and another, then rested 10 seconds, did 55 or 50, something like that. And then I did squats, just 2 dumbbells at the knees. These felt great because again, you can go much lower than with kettlebells because dumbbells are like this high. And then I did a deadlift with with dumbbells, also the same, I think like 70, 60, 50 or something like that. And then I did a high pull because they have small barbells with fixed weights, you know, like small ones, and you do high pull like this. So again, I was doing, I think I started with 50 pounds, then 40 and 30. And some guy beefed up like muscles, like, you know, mountains, was kind of like looking at me because the number is stamped on the back of the dumbbell, and I was doing, the last one was 30. And this guy looking at me, I'm doing 30 pounds with 2 hands. And I think that's it. So yeah, so bench press, farmer's walk, bench press, bent row, squats. Oh yeah, and then I felt like I still had some strength in my leg muscles left, so I tried to find, all these were free weights, right? And then I tried to find a machine for thighs, you know, for your the main muscles of your legs. Found one, got in, and I couldn't figure out how it works. It was like basically a seat and the plate in the front where you put your feet, and I tried to move it, nothing moves. And there were 2 pins where you put weights. The left side had 2 45-pound plates and the other one had 45 for some reason. And I was just trying to see how it works, and I couldn't move the plate. And there was some guy nearby in earphones. I said, "Excuse me, do you know how this works?" He took his earphones off, got in the machine, same position, and he pushed the plate and it went. And I said, okay, so it probably means that it's too heavy for me. And so I took one 45-pound plate off, so I had just 45 and 45, 90, and I was able to move it. But it was super difficult, you know, like 90 pounds with both legs, because it's isolated, right? You're sitting. Like I did squats with 70 pounds in each hand, which is 140. But here it's only 90, but it felt heavier because you're kind of immobilized and only your legs are working, right? And so I did again the same, like 45, and then did 35, and then 25. And across the room there was a beautiful girl in a super skimpy t-shirt, speaking about tank top. So that's another proof I know how it works, that you can wear pretty much shorts and something like this just to, you know, so that you're comfortable. And she had some nice tattoos, you know, and she was with a boyfriend or husband or something, and her husband caught me looking at her because, you know, I'm pushing this plate on this leg machine and the girl is right there, like across the room, you know. And so I just looked at her tattoos, you know, and her, well, some other parts, but never mind. The guy looked at me like daggers, you know. I said, okay, you carry on, soldier. So I did my stuff and went into the boxing room and did some number 8 with the 24 kilo kettlebell. Oh, and the cool thing is that they have a shower. They have a shower, and each shower has a door, so you can actually be naked, right? Because some places I was to, you know, it was like a common room, there's no doors, and so you have to wear, you know, something on your body. You cannot show your, you know, your organs to the public. But then they had a steam room also included in the gold membership, steam room and sauna, like a dry sauna. And the guys, well, steam room it's not working, but it's gonna be fixed. But yeah, steam room, it's like a common room with benches. So he says, yeah, you have to be dressed over here, which is great. Oh, and the other thing I asked him, I said, the guys at the counter, I said, could you please tell me what are the busiest times of the day and days of the week. And he says Monday through Friday after 5 it gets very busy. So I'm guessing most people come here after work, which was exactly what I planned to do. And so now I have to rethink my plan, especially since they have showers, which is perfect. So this is on between my home and my work. So I'm gonna do it on the way to work. I'm gonna get up at 5, you know, like 3 times a week, come here for some 30-40 minutes, take a shower, and then go to work and bring another t-shirt with me, you know? Cool. Yeah, so this was a good experience. I like these heavy dumbbells. They're more comfortable than kettlebells for many exercises, you know? It's too bad I looked at the plates, barbell plates. They don't have slots for your hands like mine do. Mine, I can actually use them to do high pull because there's 3 holes, you know, they're specifically created for that, so that you can use them for more exercises, not just for dumbbells. But there's a solid disc with no holes, so you cannot, it's hard to do, you know, let's say high pull. So I did high pull with a little barbell, which was okay. And again, I noticed that many people focus on, I don't understand this. Many people focus on some, you know, biceps or triceps. Just basically very small muscle groups, which to me is a waste of time. I only exercise large muscle groups, you know, like you know, bench press, deadlift, squats, where pretty much most of your body is taxed with weights, which, you know, saves time and it's more healthy, I think. I like high pull, man. You just feel like the top of your back, you know, especially when you look in the mirror. And like this, when you do this, you know, when you lift like this, like the top of your back is just super great exercise. It's mostly used by, you know, those sumo wrestlers. They like doing this, and they do it with the legs. So they start in the squat position, and then they lift themselves and they lift the weight with both hands towards their chin. So that's a super great exercise. I might do it later, kind of like a variation of the high pull. All right, so let's get home, take a shower, grab a breakfast, and we'll go shooting. Sorry, I forgot to mention one thing. I asked them if it's okay to film inside or take pictures, like selfies, and they looked at me kind of like funny, and they said, not really. We had some instances, some, you know, kind of like scandals or something. And I said, yeah, probably it's because, you know, there's other people that might not be in your video. And they said, yeah. So basically, no to filming, which is interesting because I'm watching this guy, you know, this guy Anatoly, who pretends to be a gym cleaner and who's actually super strong bodybuilder, and they're always filming in the gym, but I think they have some kind of a hidden camera because it often shows this guy Anatoly from a distance, and I'm guessing he's wearing a Bluetooth mic, so the audio quality is excellent, but they show from far away, you know, from some like 10-20 meters. So but somehow he built up a whole presence on YouTube, and I'm guessing somehow he persuades the gym owners to allow him to do this. Or maybe he just, you know, they keep the camera hidden so nobody knows what's going on. Well, here's the gun, Mossberg MVP Patrol. I added this to the stock, and the red dot, everything else is standard. There's my target, so now we're just gonna try to hit it exactly where the red dot points, because this is the first time I'm shooting this, and the red dot has not been sighted. I brought a screwdriver because it makes it easy to adjust the elevation and windage. So counterclockwise elevation moves the point of impact up, and counterclockwise windage button moves the point of impact to the right. Yeah. this little booklet with me. Sometimes it's hard to adjust it properly, no? So I have lots of bullets. I brought 4 boxes, 20 each, but I don't think I'll shoot that much. I'm just gonna load them. I don't want to load the magazine. I'm just gonna load them, you know, right in there. I just attach the magazine so that the bullets, the cartridges don't fall through. Okay, let's shoot this thing. I'm a bit nervous. This is my first time shooting 5.56 caliber. Very comfortable. It's pretty loud. Aiming at the bottom, I mean at the center. The trigger is very sensitive. Groups are very good, very close. Okay, so I have to go up. Okay, safety one, I have to go up. And a bit to the right. Check again. So up and to the right. So I have to move both counterclockwise. All right, let's try now. 3 more. I'm still aiming at the center of the chest. I don't think anything changed. Safety on. Yeah. Up. What? went up, perfect, by about 1 inch. Safety on. Counterclockwise. So now I'm just doing the elevation, so it's easier to do it one by one. So now they charge $60, safety off, for a session, same as the membership. So the membership, monthly membership, is $60. Okay. So the monthly membership went up from $50 to 60. And if you're shooting once a month, it's the same, except that if you're shooting once a month and you're not a member, every time you come in, you have to do paperwork. Alright. Safety on. Counterclockwise. Had to put these bullets in there because they're so small. Okay, let's change to safety off. Wow. Pretty much where I was aiming, except it went to the left a little bit. So let's do 3 more. And if... Come on, get in there, son of a gun. Okay, safety on. They don't feed properly. Safety off. Wow. Man, I was aiming at the center and I hit exactly that. Wow. This is such a great little rifle. Okay, let's try again the top, the head. Man, awesome. The barrel is not exactly hot. Okay, let's try top left corner. Holy mackerel. I'm a sharpshooter now. Okay, top right shoulder. I mean, top right corner. Holy. All it needed was some elevation adjustment. Okay, let's try the dick at the very bottom in the center. Man, I got the dick. Wow. Okay, safety on. So now we can close the elevation. So I'm not adjusting it again. Wow, and I only did 15 shots. And I have 3 more targets. Okay, safety off, bottom left. Perfect. And so now, once the red dot is sighted, now I can go and ask my friend at work, well, not a friend, but a co-worker, because she has a farm. And she was saying we can come and join her, and they do a lot of shooting over there. I think I need to, safety on, I need to adjust the windage a little bit to the right. And to do that we have to do counterclockwise. Safety off. I'll probably just do 40, because usually that's what I do. Otherwise the gun gets very hot. And actually I'm becoming hot. I turn it back a little bit, because now it seems to go too far to the right. one more and we'll change the targets. Okay, I think it's good. Okay. Safety is on. See, guys, so that was before I was aiming here and I was hitting here, so I raised it using the elevation thing counterclockwise, and also here I was aiming here and I was shooting here, and that's why I wanted to go up and slightly to the right, which is, but you see at the bottom, that's pretty much exactly where I was aiming. Like I said, the dick, that was the dick, and then shoulders, you know. The rifle is so light, you know, it's really a pleasure to shoot. And so now, once it's sighted, yeah, I can go to the farm. Let's set it up a bit further, yeah, like this. All right, and then we'll just finish the box. Yeah, I'll just do 40 shots. And this little bag I got on Amazon, and you're supposed to fill it with sand, but I couldn't find any sand, so I put beans in there. I hope they don't sprout because they're in the dark, but probably should check on them, see what's going on with these beans. All right, let's see if we can hit the head in the center. Uh-oh, went high. Interesting. Oh yeah, because I changed the distance. Let's hit the center mass. So if they're all gonna be high, I'll have to dial back. Yeah, just slightly higher than where I was aiming. This was intense. Okay, why are my lights on? Usually that means that one of the doors is not properly locked. Disappeared. Yeah, it was pretty intense, and it was so hot in there. It's like it's warm inside. I think the guy said, yeah, he's gonna switch on the fan, but nobody shot there. Like they're not busy today at all. Actually, when I called them before, you know, to double check that they open and everything, they said, yeah, the price went up to $50, and I said, how long can you shoot? And they said, well, when it's busy, we limit the time to 2 hours. If it's not busy, you can shoot as much as you want. And today was not busy because it's Sunday, middle of the day, but there was okay, what, 21 minutes. If I go on Deerfoot, 22 minutes. Yeah, screw this, I'm going on Stony.
Starting route to home.
Yeah, I have to drop off the guns.
Proceed to 33 Street Northeast, then take the first right.
Yes, drop off the gun. And I bought 4 targets, I only used up 2. And I shot 2 full boxes of 20s, and then I think 5 or 6 from the other box. So I probably shot like 45. And I have a little file on my computer called shooting log, because you know, it helps to write down how many rounds you shot, because you know, when it's time to, let's say, sell, people might ask you, and also it helps you keep track, you know, when to clean the gun. So I don't clean it after each use. I'm gonna clean it after 200 rounds. Holy moly. Wow, that's not good. What the heck are they doing over there? So we have to go here, and then I'm guessing this way. Road closed.
Turn right onto 36th Street Northeast.
Police. And then of course, how am I supposed to turn around if they don't allow U-turns? All right, screw it. We'll go on Deerfoot, because right there there's a Memorial Drive that way, and they can jump on Memorial. Oh, there's no lights here. Well, these guys are just keep going. They're doing some paving there.
Use the left lane to make a U-turn at 8th Avenue Northeast.
Oh yeah, that's illegal in Calgary. Shut up. And this is the East Side Dodge, where I bought the Compass and where I bought the Hellcat. But you know, it's too far. So actually, the shooting place is around the corner from my Chrysler dealer, which is interesting. I remember when I came, and this was the closest Chrysler dealer to me when I arrived in Calgary, and so I would often, you know, do something here. You know, I was like doing oil change or something, and they have a van, you know, like a courtesy vehicle, and I would go and say, okay, please take me to the Starbucks. And there's like a Starbucks and like 3 kilometers away. So I learned, you know, about this area quite a bit. And there's a shopping mall on the other side. I think it's called Sandridge Shopping Center. Yeah, what's interesting with the red dot, when I had the target at first, probably what, like 10 feet, I don't know, 5 meters, maybe 13 feet. Yeah, it was low and to the left, and so I adjusted that, and it started hitting quite accurately. But then I moved the target away. I moved the target away. Now it was like 20 feet, and all of a sudden the red dot started giving me false you know, false info, bad shots. So I had to go back pretty much. So it looks like, man, shut up. Looks like this red dot was pre-sighted probably at the factory for a specific distance, and the further away I kept the target, the more I had to go back to the original settings, you know. So basically, yeah, it's not like Well, shotgun was similar to this, but I just need to find, you know, when I go hopefully to that farm of the co-worker and I set up my targets, which of course are much more interesting to shoot, you know, like jugs of pop or some watermelons, whatever. I'll just find the distance I want to shoot. You know, I don't want to shoot like 1,000 meters or stuff like that. I just want to something, because you know, each time I kill those targets I have to go and restack them, right? I have to put up some new jugs of water, you know, put back up the steel targets that fell down. The only ones I don't have to touch are the those gongs on the poles, right? They just make a sound, so you know, saying that you hit them. But with a rifle you probably want to be a bit further than with a shotgun, because I think it's more accurate. But yeah, I'm quite happy with these bullets. And the guy shooting next to me, like a young kids, I don't know, maybe in their 20s. I heard them talking when I was buying the targets, and so what's cool about this club or this shooting range is that you don't have to be licensed. You don't have to have that firearms license. So anybody can come in and shoot. If you don't have the license, what happens is that they give you the instructor. And of course it takes longer, whereas I have the license, so I can just start shooting right away. But I have to do the waiver because I'm not a member of this club anymore, right? So that takes a long time. It's like lots of initials, lots of signatures. And so yeah, if you're a member, you do that only once. You do that waiver once a year, I think they said. But that's it. Then I can go in, as long as I have my ear protection and glasses, you know, and I know what I'm doing. Like the gun has to be pointed all the way, always to the down range, as they say, right? A couple of times I remember I was doing something and I raised it like this, so the barrel was pointed at the ceiling right away, because they have cameras in there. They watch you if you do something stupid. So right away some guy came in and he says, please do not point the gun at the ceiling. I said, okay, sorry, my bad. Yeah, because sometimes, you know, a gun might go off, right, and it'll damage the ceiling. And also they inspect your bullets with some kind of magnet, because what happens is that if you have some, you know, bullets with metal, I guess they call them what, full metal jacket or something, they can damage the container. Like this is a sea container, right? So there's some kind of bullets that they don't want there. But basically pretty much all stuff I buy online, it's all legal, never had any trouble. But they still, each time you come in, they ask you to show them the ammo, and they check them with that little magnet, and then they say, yeah, you're good to go. So this time took them a bit longer, but then they look on the box, they found the marking they were looking for. So yeah, this one is good to go. And the only thing I did not like, yeah, you see I was hand feeding the cartridges into the barrel, into the, what I was called, breech. And the bullets are like, I don't know, 3 millimeters wide, and the barrel is 2.5 millimeters wide, so, and it's dark in there. So it's hard to put them in, you know. And when I tried once with a magazine, they were all jamming. And that stupid magazine that came with this rifle, it's intended for 10 rounds, but for some reason, I guess because they were selling it somewhere where you're limited to 5, so they put a dent in the middle of the magazine, so you cannot load more than 5 cartridges, which is stupid, because over here in Canada there's no limit on the capacity of the magazine if you have a bolt action rifle. The limit exists only for automatic, semi-automatic weapons, but manual, you know, shotgun or bolt action rifle, there's no limit. But I guess, you know, all places are different. Well, for target practice it's one thing, but if you're doing hunting, it's another thing. I think with hunting there is a limit for shotguns, even when they're pump action. But I'm not hunting, I'm just doing targets. So yeah, it was interesting. And so now I pretty much adjusted it to hit properly. I don't know, probably 10 meters, 30 feet, because that seemed like a nice, you know, distance, not too far, not too close. So because again, I don't want to walk too far, you know, when I have to rearrange my targets when I usually have that folding table, right? And then if you're like 200 meters away, either you should have like some kind of a ATV, or you'll be walking for 10 minutes, you know. So yeah, I'll try with this setup. So now at least I'm comfortable adjusting the windage and elevation. It's easy to remember, actually. I draw a picture there. So both of them counterclockwise. So the elevation counterclockwise moves the point of impact up, and the windage counterclockwise moves the point of impact to the right. So up and to the right. And so if you need to go down and to the left, you move them clockwise, both of them, right? And it's super easy to do with a screwdriver, even though that little cap that sits on top, it has its own little rib that can act as a screwdriver. But I used them before, and they're super difficult to use because that little rib is too small. And so a screwdriver like I have is much easier. And each time you do you move them, there's a click, you know, like click, click, click. So depending on how far you have to go, you do like 5 clicks or 10 clicks, you know. It's pretty nifty. I love these red dot sights. They're pretty good. So yeah, this is the road I travel every day for work. So I really hate it because of all the construction and the 80 kilometer, 50 mile an hour speed limit. And I didn't do the bike today because they were saying it would be raining around 6 a.m. But see, now it seems everything is dry, but the sky is like real nasty. So yeah, now I'm gonna just drop off the rifle and the ammo and start my Uber and Lyft and see if I can make a couple of bucks. Just to maybe cover, you know, I just paid $70. It was $60 for the session and about $10 for the 4 targets. But the good thing is that I have 2 targets left, so I can use them next time. All right, that's it. Captain Sergey out. Thanks for watching.